The first thing that my opponent said on her contention was that because over the last few century, most of our medicines and all of the medical advances that we've had is because of animal testing. Well, I would like to point out that in the last century, only a fraction of it did we have alternatives, did we discover alternatives. We barely just discovered it, therefore, it hasn't really done much as animal testing because of the amount of time we've given it to be used. And in that amount of time, we haven't even used it that frequently or that often because it's only been recently that there's been a push for it. And then my opponent carried on to saying that it helps with cosmetics and that it's more efficient for cosmetics so that we ourselves won't get irritated on our skin and stuff like that and make sure that it's safe for us. Well, I would just like to point out that this is what my point is. It's inhumane. Cosmetics is just meant for us to look beautiful, and then we're doing it at the cost of animal lives, living things. Well, if that's the case, then I'm not going to use any more cosmetics. Also, we can just culture skin cells in a laboratory in tubes that we can test those cosmetics on and would probably be more cost efficient because it's, according to cost of animal and non-animal testing by the Humane Society International, most of the cost is a lot less. Like animal testing for chromosome aberration is $30,000. It's $10,000 less to do $10,000 less to do an in vitro test. So imagine that for cosmetics, for generating just culture and skin cells, it would be a lot less than just using it on mice and all those things. And we can see the effect of it directly on humans. Also, she says that animals benefit from it first because they get to try out the medicines first. Well, who do we test, or what medicines do we test on the animals for? Like, it's for us, it's for humans, it's not meant for the animals. So in general, we're not even just helping the animals. That's not our purpose. Even though we may find things that would work on them, most of the time we're not, and it's just killing them, and it's just wasting lives of animals. And she also says that they have shorter life cycles. This points out even more that animals are way different than humans because of their short life cycle. Imagine if you're testing it on them and it's only because it's a short amount of time that you're giving that, the reaction on them is having that because they're different. Indicated by the shorter life cycle, it means that they are different and that you can't really rely on the results from that. Also, she says that a lot of people endorse animal testing. Whilst today there's a lot of push towards animal rights, the animal rights groups, even though they are very radical, are growing in numbers. As by USA Today, animal rights groups pick up momentum article. There's been an explosion of interest in animal welfare issues, and says David Favre, a Michigan State University law professor and animal law specialist. Groups like Humane Society and PETA have brought social awareness, and more people are joining them. So therefore, that is my case.